Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, we're bringing you another edition of NFL Would You Rather. We've got some scenarios for each other. We're going to see what the other person would do in that situation. Before we get into the video, question of the day, and that is, who is y'all's dark horse Super Bowl team? No Chiefs, no Bucs, no Rams. Who's your sleeper team that not a lot of people would expect that you think has a chance to win the Super Bowl? Comment below, and at the end of the video, you'll hear our answers. But Jay, why don't you start with your first scenario?
I think we all, on my first Would You Rather, just want something to happen at this point. But the first Would You Rather is, would you rather Deshaun Watson be traded to, of these three teams, the Eagles, Broncos, or Dolphins?
Eagles, Broncos, Dolphins. So let me get this out of the way. I think he would do the best in Denver. They have the best defense. They have a solid selection of young offensive weapons. But I think my answer is going to be Miami. I'd love to see him reunite with Will Fuller. I think that they worked really well together in Houston. And Miami definitely has a good defense and young weapons all across the board. I think Denver's defense would be better off than Miami's. But my overall answer would be Miami. I'd love to see Deshaun in a Dolphins uniform playing in Florida. And I think he'd work really well with Will Fuller.
Yeah, I'd personally go with Denver just because I think seeing him and Mahomes twice a year would just be a dream for an NFL fan to watch. And him with Herbert coming up, that would instantly probably become the best division of football, no matter what the Raiders do. Just those. I don't want to call the Chargers a powerhouse yet, but I do think they're on the come up. And then, of course, Deshaun with the Broncos and the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes are already powerhouses. I would just love to see that tight division in those matchups every single year.
Yep. So for my first scenario, it's going to be involving Aaron Rodgers, but kind of a little bit of background. With the new deal they structured with him, giving him an early opt-out, I'm just going to go ahead and assume this is his last year in Green Bay. I don't expect him to stick around. So that being said, would you rather see Aaron Rodgers have a rematch against the Bucs and beat them to really put a punctuation on his career in Green Bay, but beat the Bucs, or would you rather see him then miss the playoffs and this year's a total bust and he goes out like that?
I'm going to try and put aside the fact that I'm a Bucs fan. If I was being biased, I would obviously say have him lose to the Bucs. But being unbiased, I like to root for NFL players a lot, and I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers just fall apart like that. So I would, unfortunately, pick for him to have success rather than just completely fall apart. But that's being my unbiased side. If I was being super honest, how do I pick him against my favorite team?
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, and the last thing I'd want to see is this year be a total flop, and they win 7 games, and that's it for him in Green Bay. Yeah. So if my only other choice is to see him beat the Bucs in the NFC Championship and go to the Super Bowl, I got to go with that.
Yeah, I see. For my next Would You Rather, these three teams are kind of all looked at as the worst team in their division, but I still think they have a dark horse chance of winning it. I don't think the Texans have any chance to win the AFC South or the Jets to win the AFC East. But looking at these three teams, would you rather be of these three teams, who would you rather win their division as a sneaky pick? The Eagles in the NFC East, Cardinals in the NFC West, or the Bengals in the AFC North? None have great odds, but
Bengals I'm going to say no on just because I just don't think that's even feasible. Philly, not a big fan of. I'd much rather see Washington or Dallas pull that off, or even New York Giants. I guess out of those 4 teams, I at least prefer Philly to win it. So I'm definitely going to go Arizona Cardinals. I'm a fan of Kyler. I love Diop in Houston, so I kind of follow where he is now in Arizona, and I like him a lot. And I like what that young team is doing, and now they got J.J. Watt, gives me another reason to like them. And I think that of those 3 is the most realistic as well. I think any team in the NFC West has a chance to win it, so I'm going to go Arizona.
Yeah, and it's funny, the way you look at it, Bengals aside, I'm kind of narrowing it down to Eagles or Cardinals. I feel like it's funny how we're looking at them. Cardinals, the NFC West is so good, anyone could win that division. The NFC East, everyone is so bad, anyone could win that division. I just think that's kind of funny. But I would personally pick the Eagles just because I feel like no one's even considering that. Mm-hmm. People are seeing them as being a top 3 draft
pick. I do like
pick.
Jalen Hurts.
And I can't argue against that. If I had to bet my money, I'd say they finished last. But I just think that'd be crazy to see them come out above everyone.
So my next one was Watson to Miami or Denver. So we'll have to use your 4th one. So going to my 3rd one, not necessarily an either-or scenario, but of the rookie QBs, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, which would you most rather see succeed this year? And it's hard to define succeed, but look at them and say, man, they had a great season.
I am a Trevor Lawrence fan, but I'd really like to see Trey Lance turn it around for the Niners. I don't know why. I don't like to see franchises that I don't absolutely hate just waste away their future and have a terrible draft pick. I want Trey Lance to pan out for him. For some reason, I would probably pick that one, and I do like Jimmy G. I hope the best works out for him, but I think it'd be crazy to see Niners back in a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback. I think they just have the best success or the best chance at a high successful season, And I think that'd be crazy to see an actual rookie make the Super Bowl. Not predicting that he will or they will, but I think of the rookies to possibly make a Super Bowl run, they definitely have the best chance.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence as well. I think he's definitely... I mean, the hype has been around Trevor Lawrence since he was 18 years old in Clemson, winning a national championship as a starting quarterback as a freshman. So since then, it's been, when's this guy going to the NFL and how good is he going to be? I like the situation in Jacksonville. But another guy that I really want to hope to see succeed is Zach Wilson. The Jets obviously have had an unfortunate last couple seasons, really last decade. I mean, I don't know the last time the Jets have been good. But I think he's looked really good in preseason, and I think some Jets fans are maybe not happy with the pick, but I'd love to see Zach Wilson succeed. But overall, I got to go Trevor Lawrence. I think he deserves it the most.
Yeah, makes sense. Next, would you rather for me is would you rather have the best secondary in the NFL? So pick your everyone, whether it be Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, Tyrann Mathieu, whatever it is.
Best
two corners, best
Okay.
two safeties,
Okay.
or the best front four. So Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt. Which would you rather have? Best secondary or best front four?
I'm going to go front four. I'm just picturing myself as a quarterback, having to look right across the line to a guy like Aaron Donald or Myles Garrett. I think I think putting pressure on a quarterback, no matter how good of a quarterback that is going to get to them more than a good secondary will be. I think quarterbacks obviously they found a way around both front four and a secondary, but I think good quarterbacks can pick apart even good secondaries better than they can a 6'2" or whatever Aaron Donald coming right at your face. So I'm going to go front four.
Yeah, I would probably have to agree if I was building a team. I think if you have the best offensive line of football, the best lineman would still have to double team Aaron Donald. So if you add Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, whoever your next best defensive tackle is, Chris Jones, whoever it is, your imaginary front four, I just don't see any offensive line really stopping that. Final would you rather, though, a little similar to the last one. Would you rather the best cornerback in the league or the best wide receiver, whoever it is in your opinion? Devontae Adams, Ramsey, Jair Alexander, D-Hop, whatever it is.
I'm going to go wide receiver. I think being a defensive guy, being a cornerback, you're already at a disadvantage to the receiver. I mean, having a great game as a cornerback is not 0 catches, 0 yards. It's still 50, 60 yards, maybe no touchdowns. So I think a defender is already at a disadvantage. And I think having a good receiver, I mean, we saw what Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams were able to accomplish just as one duo of knowing this guy, Aaron Rodgers, is going to go to Devontae Adams, and they were able to succeed so well. And I just think that that's going to do more for a team than a great cornerback, despite no doubt that a cornerback is valuable.
Fair enough. I would probably go with cornerback just because in my head, if I had the right quarterback, he could make something work with someone. Yeah. Obviously, I'm banking on having a Rodgers or Mahomes in this situation. If I have me in the backfield or whoever you think is bad, Gardner Minshew, Daniel Jones, Mitch Trubisky, you're going to need the best of the best to help them out. But in my head, just having a Ramsey, having a Jair Alexander, having that X-factor team leader on defense is like no other. And I think cornerback being at a disadvantage, being the hardest position in football, probably outside of quarterback, just makes it that much more valuable. So I'm taking the top corner in this one.
Fair enough. That's it for our Would You Rather scenarios. Comment your answers below. But back to the question of the day, Jake. Who are your sleeper Super Bowl picks for this coming season?
Again, no Bucs, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Rams, Packers, the obvious ones. My two dark horse teams, as in one in the AFC and one in the NFC, would probably go to the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC. They got a top 3 running back, an improving O-line, Jay Jettas, Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins had his best year last year, and a healthy defense with Daniil Hunter, Eric Hendricks, Pat Pete, Anthony Barr. This team is going to be a playoff team. I think they have a dark horse chance. And then AFC, it's probably going to be the LA Chargers just because of the ceiling I believe their quarterback has. Again, I'm not betting on either of these, but dark horse pick, I'm going to go with the very well-rounded Vikings and an extremely high ceiling Justin Herbert in LA.
That's fair. For my two, start with the AFC. I like the Tennessee Titans. I think that they are definitely on the map, but not quite on the not on the same caliber as Bucs, Rams. So I still consider them to be kind of a sleeper. Their defense is not great, but I have a lot of faith in Tannehill. They have a top back in the league in Derrick Henry. They have 2 great receivers. Recently picked up Julio Jones and AJ Brown, thank you. So I think the Titans are definitely worth considering out of the AFC, but not quite a front runner. And then in the NFC, I'm going to go out of the NFC East and say the Dallas Cowboys. That depends on one big thing. That is a healthy Dak right now. Suffered a shoulder injury, I think you told me.
It's weird.
That we saw a shoulder injury in preseason, but hopefully going to be starting week 1. So I think that with their offense, going to need a bounce back season from Zeke. But I like Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. I think the Dallas Cowboys have the offensive tools, and they drafted defensively, starting with Michael Parsons, so I think that they have a shot. But that's all for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.